what a series it's been so far, sir. Very back and forth between these two teams. I don't know how to ask you this, John. Lilgun, they end up losing game 2. Can you explain to us what they need to change up in game number 3?
It did feel like Lilgun had an opportunity to play for Megas at some point. They didn't manage to really capitalize on lack of buybacks at a certain fight. That game really boiled down to just late game decision making. Orca and their discipline and their continuous improvement just shows that they worked as a unit really well in those late game fights. There weren't any major mistakes from either side. I think they played really clean. It just boiled down to being a 70-minute game, and whoever got the jump in first, whoever got the coordination off first, and at the end, Lilgun were just taking it really scrappily, going way too far forward, overextending, over prolonging that fight, and giving MLP the angles he needed for the Fiend's Grip. So we'll see how this one goes. It has been a very long set of games coming out from both teams, so it's very evenly placed with these two finalists, and I'm keen to see how much more they can get out. Of course, Orca start off with Morris and do pick up the Snapfire on their end. So they take that away from Kishka, who had a really good time in that second game and the first game. Not going to have the option to be the secondary core this time around. There is some flex there for Orca. They could run it mid, but likely not. I don't think Citrus is really the type to run that Snapfire mid as we see Yopaj do. Lilgun, for their part, they take the TA early on, preventing it from being banned out. So they prioritize that hero. They get the Ogre Magi on top. You do have a really good buff for your TA to get fast. Start hitting harder early on. And I think for Lilgun, this does signal maybe a bit of a quicker draft. They could run that for Sanctity mid. They could put Sanctity on safe lane, depending on the matchup. Although up against Amoras, I don't think you really want to necessarily lane against that. First 2 levels for TA feel pretty atrocious. So we'll see what Lilgun does opt for in the end. They still have the option here, Mike, for their Grimstroke. That's been left in the pool. And even without the Lycan combination, Grimstroke is still something Lilgun falls back to. I'm keen to see if Orc is willing to let that go, as it's just one of those comfort things for Lilgun. The Sand King has been taken out, so no option for that, but something like the Tide Hunter could be good. Mid lane, you could go for the Ember, run a safe lane TA with a Grimstroke. Down the line for the Inkswell combos. Lots more left here for Lilgun to play with.
Yeah, I mean, certainly is. I do love seeing the TA popping back out, though. Sanctity, whoever wants to play it, really. 4-2-3 can take it for himself. It's very flexible here for Lilgun. I do agree with the point you made as well earlier on, John. It's one of those things with Lilgun. They do tend to play very, very safe. And in game 2, you saw it kind of bite them back in the backside. You know, it's kind of hard to say, because at the end of the day, you're playing Void. He's not good at sieging towers. You know, you've got to be careful because you've got to respect the high ground defense of Team Orca. But at some point, you've got to take the risk, right? Because eventually, you're going to just leave so many openings, and Orca will eventually just take them and kind of move on from there. John, you look very disturbed as you're sitting there. Something wrong?
No, my back's just giving in. I'm getting a bit old, Mike, you know? Like, I feel the bones aching.
Oh,
it's all...
You'll be right,
you know,
John. Get a better chair, Jonathan. What about one of those...
This is a good chair. This is a good chair. It's just, I don't know. I think my posture is just bad. You know, I need a posture check. And there's that Rimstroke ban. So they do take out that one special Lilgun. You can see how they change options for Bane as Orca does pick it up themselves. We saw MLP have an amazing game in game 2. His position with the grips were really good, and the Ags made it very difficult to stop that on top of 4-2-3. So stable pickup for Orca, giving them some save as well. Lilgun, we have to see some heavy adjustments. Without the Grimstroke, I feel like a lot of their combinations are taken off. I do still feel like it's a pretty good game for Sanctity's Ember. You will have to worry about the Bane, but at the same time, you can also just chains in the backline. They go for the Venge first. And this is not a hero you see too often now. There's been word that as a core, it feels a lot better. The Ag Shard is really big, though, at 15 minutes in, Mike. You know, bouncing Magic Missile with the added range is pretty nice. So I don't mind that too much. We've seen Tim's play it before, and they go back for the Pangolier. So minus armor strat with the Venge and TA. With the Pangolier as well, with the lucky shots coming through. Decent control. They've got a way to scout out the Bane with a Wave of Terror. And at max level, the swap is going to be a really good way to stop that rip.
Yeah, certainly will be. Team Orca. Fourth pick up for themselves now. Two more calls to go. Safe lane, mid lane. I was trying to think what they would like. I mean, I guess into the TA, you do have Ember available right now. I feel like that would probably be the way to go. Citrus, he might feel like he could run a Puck or something like that. You know, Witch's Blade can be nice against TA.
Yeah.
I think the Ember's the way to go, but they go for the Deucer. Surprise, surprise. Third game in a row.
What can you do? Deuce is still good. Economy hasn't changed. Scaling to the late game's good. Late game Deuce up against the TA does feel favorable for the Deuce. Lilgun again has this way of handling it with a Pangolier, with the Diffusal buildup that we saw from Sanctity last time around. So there's still some give here for Lilgun to handle that, but if it worked last time, no real need to change. You've got the Arena combination, you've got the Kisses, you've got the Bane to save. So stable game for Orca. We are still looking for a like leader mid here for Citrus. As you said, Ember still works, Puck still works. Viper Razor could also work if you want to go that route. Kunkka is available, although Citrus is... Ajit is not really the biggest Kunkka player in comparison to a lot of the mids right now. Certainly does fit the lineup. I think if they do want to get that early aggression locked in for Orca, we have seen them run a lot of Leshrac, but that tends to be with the IO. So you don't have the relocate play, you don't have the spell amp up, but it will give you some much needed push to compensate for the lack of damage from the Dusa in the early to mid game.
Right.
So maybe something like that could be the way they go. Matchup against TA is also pretty good. If they end up putting TA mid, you can just melt through her fraction very fast, and that gives you your mid-game momentum. So I'm keen to see if Orca will be able to pick that up, if it is what they want, or if Lilgun reads that and bans it out.
Still going to that reserve time for these bans. They'll get rid of the Quap. I mean, it does feel like it's going to be another mid Pango here, and the safe lane TA probably, so I guess you could switch it around. It's either way. That's one of the strengths of Lilgun, is the flexibility between their safe lane and mid lane. I mean, what's your answer towards this Medusa, though? Like, do you think they're even concerned about it? Like, last game they had such a massive lead for the whole game, and I don't know. Is Medusa really that strong? So last game, it felt like Citrus won them that game. Like, let's be fair. Like, on the Void Spirit, it felt like Citrus got the win. Do you even take the pick seriously? Because, again, I think for 2 games in a row, Lilgun have already resolved the Medusa problem.
Yeah, I think they can handle it. And you do see Lilgun take care of the Leshrac. I don't think they really worry about that. I think the Pangolier is enough to handle the Dusa. What Lilgun would need is maybe compensating for that lack of push. I think the one way to run it is, as you said, Sanctity mid lane Pango, 4-2-3 on the safe lane TA. Give 11 something like a Beastmaster. You know, give it a little push out, get a nice roar, get a good way of scouting out where the Bane is on top of the Wave of Terror, and just take control of these fights. Get some tempo for yourself, buy space out for the TA. Could be the way to go for Lilgun if they want to go that route, as Sand King's gone, Tide's gone, been banned out by them as well. There is an option for a DK off lane, but I don't think we tend to see 11 play that hero. So probably not. Maybe a Brewmaster could work out as well for 11. We've seen him play that a couple of times. And they go to Ricky instead. So this should be the standard TA mid up against an Ember. Not the best feeling. I don't see any other way of flexing that, though, and it will be 4-3 into Ricky. So a great last pick from Orca, still handling that TA mid lane matchup. Kishra is taking the Pangolier. It's a core Venge. It's an off-lane Venge for 11, so farm priority onto him. Mind you, Lilgun's right-click draft does scale really well, especially with the Venge's aura. Base damage increase for the TA is going to be big, and the Ricky with her agi gain as well. So a lot coming out here for Lilgun. I do feel like Orca's managed to cover their bases. It feels a lot better with the Ember. We were talking about the Void Spirit, right? It did struggle a little bit early on. Ember doesn't have those same issues. So I think Citrus is going to be set for a much better time. And as you mentioned, Mike, that game 2 did feel like it came off the back of Citrus there.
Yeah, it certainly did. I'm wondering as well, like, you did point out the fact that the Ember versus TA matchup, obviously Ember favored during that laning stage. Could you not just send the Ricky mid? You know, and run Sanctity safely. I know it doesn't sound good, John, but could you not just run it that way if you were that concerned about it?
You could. My issue is we just don't see many players outside of Moon do that, right? It's really only SMG that has that strong flex Ricky mid. So I'm not sure if 423 would want to do that. But again, Lilgun's one of those teams that also does some weird stuff in the game. That possibility is there, and that should alleviate a lot of the issues for the TA. We'll see. That does stand as an option, but I think overall, despite that, I will lean towards Orca in draft. I think the Ember is going to have a great time. Smokescreen is going to be annoying, to be very fair to Lilgun, but once you have a BKB on the Ember, you should just rectify that issue. And again, expecting Citrus to have a much stronger laning start, no matter what matchup he does face onto the mid.
Yeah. Quick pause. We have the go-ahead, though. Everything fine.
You didn't see that coming.
I mean, either way, like, we've seen this with TAs before anyway. I suppose if you lose mid lane, you go take some creeps, you go to the jungle, you take some stacks, you'll be fine. It's always the same story, which is why the hero is so popular, even till today. Is you've got just amazing comeback potential no matter what happens during your lane. So I guess TA just go mid anyway. Who the hell cares? What difference does it make?
Oh. Sorry, I got a weather warning on my phone.
Oh, excellent.
Telling me that there are extreme rains in my area. It's not too bad in my area, but you know, the general region is facing flooding. So if you're near me in the Davao region, stay safe, as the rain has been going on for like 8 hours here, which is nice and cool, but also causes flooding, Mike.
Yeah, I wish my rain was nice and cool, John. It is raining here as well. Unfortunately, though, it's rather humid at the moment. So there you go. Might be the same weather system you guys are copying from us, because we've had crazy flooding going on in Australia as well, on the East Coast especially.
Yeah, hopefully things calm down.
Yeah.
But things certainly won't calm down in this game, Mike. Both sides are very hungry to get that advantage, to have that one win away from the grand finals. We see how it will break out here.
GY, gonna be cautious. 4-2-3. He'll use both his blink strikes in to get as much damage as he can as possible. There's no kill to come out on GY, but they'll get a bit of HP gone from him. Force him to eat a tango or two. And while we're around, John, we'll start off with the top lane. Of course, you've got GY and Yif on that Mars and Snapfire. Going to be against 4-2-3 and Ace 12 on that Ricky and the Ogre. Or rather Jakiro, depending on how you want to look at it. How do you feel about this top lane, John? I mean, generally speaking, Mars does dominate the lane. I don't think this is the easiest lane for 4-2-3.
It's not the easiest lane, but it's also not completely bad. You do have a lot of slow stacking that can come out now with the changes to Ricky. With that Blink Strike slow, there's a little bit more of a window to get some damage in. And of course, you could try to play on edge, Blink Strike dodging some spells, but since you're playing up close anyway, it's not feasible that you dodge every single spear out. Ace 12 is doing a good job of putting his body forward. That's exactly what you want in this lane. And he does have 4 mangoes ready with a salve. So he knows this is not a kill lane. I'm just going to stand forward, spam Ignite, ensure my Ricky gets the initial farm he needs. You have to remember with Ricky, he has been soft buffed, not just with the slow and blink strike, but with the lower cost on the build-up of Diffusal, he comes online a lot faster as well.
Well, that he does. Over the mid lane. In fact, do we have a fight breaking out top lane? It looks like we kind of did, but Ace 12 is just going to tank through a bunch of damage. Over in the mid lane, Sanctity and Citrus, of course, against each other once again. For now, very even kind of affair between these two. I mean, obviously, as the levels go up, you do expect it to be favored the way of the Ember, but Sanctity has played a lot of TA, so I'm sure he's pretty used to this matchup.
Yeah, and he tends to be that big win condition for the team, so I'm expecting 4-2-3 to play a more tempo-based Ricky. Sanctity holding the lane well, has the level advantage, so that initial laning phase, which is painful for a TA, is kind of alleviated. Refraction's up, Meld's up, Value Point and Psyblade's up. You can work this lane really well. Try to land some good Psyblades out. Of course, every single time that Flame Guard's up, Sanctity's in danger. So he has to play a little bit safer. I do believe he has his bottle coming in, so he's going to be able to stabilize and equalize. Rune control, very important for this mid matchup, Mike. And in that sense, it should be a little bit easier for Citrus. But it's not like Sanctity's going to miss out on his water runes. At least Power Rune's going to be the more important one. And in that sense, Lilgun does have some good rotational supports. So we'll see if they do manage to invest on that rotation. But you can't count out Orca as well. They've got the Cookie, they've got the Nightmare setup. There are some good plays that can come out from those two as well.
Yeah. Oh, almost lost Courier mid lane from the Psyblades, which is something I always found funny, right? Like, why did Couriers cop Psyblades as well? Of all things, just having your courier die from random side blades that you weren't expecting to connect. I mean, it's just going to be the most infuriating thing for Citrus. He won't lose it though, luckily enough. Sanctity was lacking just a little bit of damage for that courier kill. Heading down to the bot lane, of course, you've got Kishka and 11 against Menu Ping and BT Faded once again. Very similar lane here for Orca, not so much though for 11 and of course Kishka. But it does feel like BT Faded is going to get plenty of farm in this bot lane. Like, you can't really slow down a Dusa with Venge Pango, I don't think.
No real pressure that can come out here from Lilgun. And it's just going to be a very stable farming lane for them. Secure their own build-up on the Venge. Key timing is not level, but 15 minutes in with a magic missile. Right, you get the shard up. I do believe I've heard talk from certain casters that the bounce is the full range of magic missile. So technically it multiplies your range by 2. You can stun a creep, have it bounce an enemy hero. And that could be someplace we see down the line, but not much excitement. VT Faded's having the freest lane of his life. Level 4. Dragonlance not going to be too far off, and I think you have to be a bit worried about that for Lilgun. As you mentioned, oh Mike, they've dealt with this Dusa before, and shouldn't be a major worry for them.
GY top lane, going to be kind of surrounded here by Ace 12 and 4-2-3. Spear is out. He's actually just trying to man fight as you've got Yif moving in. Cookie is up if they want to commit, but they got to hold on to it. And GY, he'll have another spear up very soon, but Ace 12 is still very healthy. They want to bait 4-2-3 back into this fight, and he may just. It's a nice spear back in onto the Ogre and go right through the Ricky. But Yif cannot finish off 4-2-3. Instead, they'll have to go back in on the Ogre. So they do leave both heroes quite low on HP, but they are going to be able to reset and maybe even move back in onto the Snapfire. But it looks like Yif is going to be able to back off just fine.
Yeah, does manage to get the spacing, and now Ace 12 is in a bit of trouble.
That he is, but both supports are. Yif, he'll one charge up, or rather stick charge. As GY does claim first blood against Ace 12. 4-2-3, unable to trade there with Yif.
Yeah, nice pickup there for GY, bonus gold going his way. So feeling pretty strong now on the Mars. He's got his Helm of Iron Will. The regen up, the armor up. It is a lot harder for the Ricky to use his right clicks, especially pre-level 6 without the Cloaking Dagger agi bonus. Let's see how much more they can take out there. Down bot, a bit of aggression here.
11 getting very low, but still wants to try and chase onto Menu Ping. Won't really be able to go for it naturally, considering how low he was. Kishka will keep tabs on Menu Ping though, make sure he doesn't feel too comfortable in this bait. Looking back at mid lane though, John, very, very even affair still. I mean, 30 CS on Sanctity, 29 on Citrus. It doesn't seem like the Ember advantage has really played its part in this laning phase. In fact, Sanctity's actually out-leveling the Ember.
Yeah, he has a ton of denies. And just delaying that level 6 of Citrus, pretty much a full level ahead. He's going to hit 7 right when Citrus hits 6. So you feel really good right now in Sanctity. It's as you said, though. He's played a lot of TA mid. He knows his matchups. Citrus just copying a bit too much in the early phase of the game. Does get that slowdown. Not going to be the riskiest lane now with level 6 up on both sides. And once this lane slows down to the farming state, it does feel a lot better for Sanctity. Playing the small camp, playing the triangle, get that build up, work towards Desolator, Dragonlance. You're still going to find what you want in that hero.
GY again, going to be targeted here on the Mars, but no Yif. Going to actually be targeted by the Ricky. No damage to fly out, and 4-2-3, he'll just juke out the spear from GY. That'll be enough. Nothing too spectacular here, just very back and forth with this top lane, but it doesn't seem like either side actually has the lockdown to actually kill each other off. So they just keep trading HP, trading hits, but it's not going to amount to really anything. Maybe bot lane. BT Faded ended up falling very low. Kishka and 11 were trying to get aggressive, but they are going to back off. They won't go for the dive past the tier 1 tower.
Nah. They can play it safe. And again, laning phase, not the most explosive. We've seen both teams play across 2 games we've seen already. Just take it slow, get the build up, poke and prod, but not fully commit. We are reaching the point where some of those leveled spikes are set to line up. And the bigger ones are looking a bit early for Orca. Citrus could start looking for some early rotations. Just with the phase boots up, would ideally have components of the Orb Corrosion up at this point. But he could just opt for the Maelstrom Rush instead. But again, not getting the rotations out. Just steady build up, although down bot.
They've got Menu Ping. And that should be your Bane gone as 11. We'll keep chasing him down, and surely Menu Ping dies here, but he is actually making a decent run of it. Kishka might actually have to wait for the next swashbuckle, but no, they've got the missile. And they will even give the kill over to 11 on that vengeful spirit, so happy days for the off lane of Lilgun. In the meantime, mid lane, a pretty decent group up from Orca. But they aren't going to be able to find Sanctity, and it does seem like the TA will easily just walk out of there.
Yep. Yeah. Again, just poking, prodding, securing their position here, not wanting their big win conditions to die, and also wanting to keep control under triangle. Good block coming out from Lilgun, but the stacks have been made. Citrus can get to work clearing some of that out. You are still having a very even game. 1-1, less than 1k lead for Orca. Again, just a lot more stable. I don't think either side really wants to risk that snowball effect kicking in too early on, although Citrus does find ace 12.
He does. Cookie is going to land onto the Ogre. Ace 12, trying to run. Citrus still trying to go for this and does eventually get it, but now 4-2-3 has joined in, and it does seem like with the trap slow, they might have enough to take down Yif at the least. They won't bother trying to chase the Ember as there was remnants available, and you haven't got that Diffusal Blade Smokescreen combo yet. But you trade supports here, and I mean, quite frankly, even if the net worth lead is the way of Orca, it feels like once you hit this timing on Lilgun, it's going to be very hard to slow down.
Yeah, it's just going to really start to kick in. The aggression we know Lilgun loves to do will be enabled once a couple of their cores are ready to commit. Down bot.
What they got? They have got the Venge. Kishka, though, is still going in 11. Actually picks up Menu Ping. GY, he won't have any way to cancel the TP this time. So 1-for-1 down bot, though Sanctity now, mid lane, gonna get jumped in by Citrus, but he's willing to try and go for the fight. Cookie is there, however, with the little shredder. Sanctity is dropping very, very low now, but here comes the turnaround as 4-2-3 is out with the smoke screen and the blink strikes in. But he's gonna leave. Sanctity rejoins the team fight, but he's out of refraction.
What?
I'm not sure what Sanctity was expecting there. They might still find Citrus, but they are going to lose a hell of a lot for this. And the Fiend's Grip from Menu Ping.
Oh,
they even found 4-2-3. Oh, but Sanctity, why would you run back in like that?
Yeah, that was so strange. He ran back in. Maybe they saw the flank on the Ogre from the rear and figured, all right, maybe we can make a play, get the Fire Blast off, find a trade, and snowball off the back of it. Instead, Orca, with his early movement out from VT Faded, make it work their way by a massive amount. That's a 4-for-nothing trade in the end. A 3k lead now for Orca. And we talked about maybe slow starts out from VT Faded. This is a very free start. In stark comparison to his earlier games, this is going to be a very farm Dusa much earlier on. You're getting that build-up you need now on Citrus. He is opting to skip the Orb of Corrosion straight to the Maelstrom. So he's going to take a more active position on the Ember. And just really good timing in that level 6 coming out from Menu Ping. This is the surprising thing about Orca. It does feel like Menu Ping from the 5 plays more like a 4. Right? He's enabled, he gets the XP, they prioritize his early farm and levels as well in comparison to Yif. They just get the kisses now, so they have more to play with as well. They still have that arena combo there waiting for the mic end. That's going to be enabled soon by the blink on GY. Still saving up for it, 1.4k gold away. It's another timing that Lilgun will have to worry about, though.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower
Lilgun down to the bot tier 1 tower. There you go. Team Orca. Stick around mid. Sticking as a unit. And they know the Ricky's not ready yet, so there's nothing really to be afraid about in terms of that diffusal timing. Sanctity, farming up ancient stacks, has pretty much taken them all now, but they are going to try and pick him off, and they might just, as they do see the remnant forward from Citrus into the kisses. Sanctity, he is not going to survive. Well, they try to help with 11 rotating in, but it's just nowhere near in time. Now 11 has to be careful not to go too far, though it is a bit of a pincer move here from Lilgun. They're going to try and trade and punish very effectively, but can they get it done? Arena is down, Menu Ping is still alive. He'll try and brain tap and keep going, as now 4-2-3 may have gone too far. A great cookie stun out, but still the magic missile back in onto the Ember might be quite problematic, as Citrus has no way up, but never mind. There's your remnant, he'll make it in time. GY rejoining the team fight. 11 dropping too low and is going to go down. Kishka has been left, but they are going to bring more people in, but Sanctity immediately getting speed to a tree. It's 4-2-3. Gotta be careful, there's a sentry ward there, 4-2-3. He'll still find the kill onto Yif. So it seems like they are running out of fuel here for Team Orca, but they've got more respawns coming in. Another Fiend's Grip onto the TA. Sanctity just came back up. He just respawned. And it's right back to the graveyard, it seems, for the TA. They lock him down, but 4-2-3, in the meantime, does pick off the Mars GY. So again, another classic back and forth team fight between these two teams. Who won, John? I believe it was Orca, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd go with Orca. They find the big trades. They don't lose their win condition on Medusa, whereas you punish that TA for outstepping. You are getting some decent farm out, some gold out onto 4-2-3 for joining that fight, and that will lead to the faster defusal. It's not enough to overcome that lead VT Faded has. And it's one of those things with these two teams, Mike. You know, the first 8 minutes are really slow. 9 minutes onwards, it's just non-stop. Respawn in, respawn in. They never stop once they have that opportunity, especially around the mid-towers. So we'll have to see how much more willing Lilgun is to jump in. I don't think you want Sanctity to be there at all. Right? The TA is just not combat ready just with a Dragonlance. Sanctity needs that Desolator first, so they have to play more 4 versus 5, or 4 versus 4 considering VT Faded. Orca will smoke up. They don't have the grip ready, but they do have the kisses and arena set to go if they find a good angle here.
Lilgun not looking too healthy at the moment. Still need to spend some time, hit that timing. Oh, Citrus chains out. Mortimer's Kiss is immediately expended onto 11. They'll swap Kishka back in and he'll just swashbuckle his way out. Citrus. He won't move back in. I mean, 12-6 now. 4K net worth advantage. I mean, Lilgun, you know, it's a rough time for them. Like, you've still got the TA, you've still got the Ricky, but it feels like everything's fallen flat right now. Maybe things change once you get the Fusel on 4-2-3, but it feels like an eternity away for now.
Oh, it definitely is. It's going to take some time for them to get that scaling. They need to keep stalling. They need to play 4v5. They're reaching the point where the Ricky will be able to do a lot more in the middle of these fights here on Lilgun's end. Diffusal's almost done. They should be able to get some more positioning out from there. But just look at Orca. They invade the top jungle. They're cutting that off from the side of Lilgun. They have left mid fairly well shoved in, so there's always going to have to be a response out. And they're not giving those openings to Lilgun. And they're just lining up bot, getting what farm they can as well. You have to remember the blink is up and running on GY, so arenas are going to be easier to set up here.
11, nice speed back from GY. Still swap is there from the Venge, but it won't matter. They've got the arena. Another great setup here from our Mars, and Citrus will happily take the kill on the Ember. 6-0-5 now is Citrus. And 13-6 is the scoreline here for Team Orca. GY, bot lane. Oh, he's even going to find 4-2-3. GY, he's feeling it now on this Mars. Yif, not there in time to scatter blast. Couldn't get the cookie either, but they've got Citrus to wrap around from the backside. And they'll clean up the Ricky another time. And GY, I mean, he's known for this Mars, John. You give it to him willingly, and this is probably what's going to start happening.
Yep. He's just playing so much of it. It's a staple of Orca's draft. They know how to play around that aggression. They know how to play around GY's timings, and GY can play it on the bleeding edge. I have to point out something here, Mike. Menu ping is level 9. The pause 4 of Lilgun is still level 7 Kishka. I mean, this is a pause 5. It's just ridiculous how much space Orca gives him.
That is pretty concerning, John, but, well, speaking of the devil, menu ping, maybe giving a lot of that XP back the way of Lilgun, and there you go. So it kind of works against them in the end, I suppose. Lilgun, at least able to find something. Citrus, this is a bit of a risky maneuver here. May get punished, Citrus. I'm not sure why you even bother trying to go for that.
Yeah, very risky play. Just punished.
Why? For the ogre?
I'm not sure. Maybe he felt safe. Maybe he thought the rest of them would be on much more forward camps. But he just saw his Bane die there, so... Yeah. Sometimes you slip up, sometimes you get hungry for a kill, Mike. You know, you get that itch. You're like, I gotta do something. You jump in, you die. Then you realize, okay, I don't need to do anything. Whoops, my bad. Just move on.
That's fair enough. Well, Menu Ping, he's got the Fiend's Grip back up now. 4-2-3, he's having a bit of a rough time with this Bane, and he might have to experience a bit more of that as he's going towards the top creep wave, but they have been very patient on Team Orca. Not patient enough, because VT Faded now shows up. 4-2-3. Will not touch the creep wave now. Had they waited maybe another 3-4 seconds, you might have actually had that Ricky kill, but they're going to miss out this time around. I have to just try and look for somebody else, and I'd say Sanctity is still a great target to try and find if you are Team Orca. Like, he is slowly catching his way up on this TA, and between TA and Dusa, it feels like TA is just more powerful at the moment. They'll jump in mid lane 11. Being caught. Chains out. It should be guaranteed killers. He does go for the swap, but it's going to amount to nada.
They get a nice kill. I mean, it's still not the biggest, but this is stalling out that Ag's timing, and with those kills, should open up a rush. They were spotted out by the trap. Slow was annoying. It shouldn't take them too long to clear this out. With the minus armor coming through from Yef, and the damage Citrus and BT Faded have. Lilgun not in position to really force a fight there. Not going to be able to contest that Roshan at all. They didn't have vision in the area, but they should have known from the trap's location that is being cleared and just getting what farm they can. As you mentioned, Mike, just waiting for Sanctity to really get built up. Desolator up, his right click output is fantastic. He just needs to blink now to gap close. 2 lives up on Citrus though. Gonna be harder to handle that Ember, and he's inching his way towards the Yules now. Doing more self-saves on top of his mobility. Making things a bit rough.
And now Pango getting caught again. Gonna be Kishka just trying to creep skip right now, but does get punished. As even 4-2-3 might be fine. Yiv's trying to move in, but does miss out on the dust, and that's gonna put an end to this Ricky attempt. Meanwhile, bottom lane looks like Menu Ping. It's gonna be spotted out by the traps of Sanctity, but they are not willing to dive past the tier 2 bot tower. So they're just gonna leave that one alone. Now that's fair. Lilgun, still just trying to get this TA up, still trying to get this Ricky up, but if you've missed your timing, I wonder at what stage you feel confident to try and fight again against Team Orchestra.
It should be really fast. Like you do not want to step back and allow the Ember and Medusa to farm up. You're already seeing again VT Fade is just constantly increasing his gold lead. It's at around 4k now, a while ago it's around 2k. So it's just set to go up and up, and Orca's just playing around that fact really well. You can see Orca going for another smoke play. They want to pressure that TA now. They've got the idea that she's bot. Sanctity can just TP out early, but might get caught out anyway.
Yeah. Up in, Remnant forward. Well, they got it. It's going to be the TA. With the Mortimer's Kisses, there's no refraction charges. They just meld Sanctity down. Ace 12 will drop as a second. And while all this is happening, the Skadi's up now. I mean, VT Faded, this is probably his best Medusa game of the series. Just farming better than any other game so far. And Sanctity, while he's finding the net worth, it just feels like without a BKB, he is just melting.
He really is. Like, he needs that protective item, but he also needs a blink, so that's going to be more items to wait for, Mike, on top of each other, and you can just see Orca. They're ready to play with VT Faded. He's taking a forward position on the triangle. They do have the Sleeping Dart out from 4-2-3, but they don't have the follow-through. It's just going to be a bit of a nuisance here until they can start landing some combos out.
CGY, have a look around. Bot T1 tower just not going to last here. Team Orca, they'll take it out very comfortably. Now you just take the triangle. I mean, VT Faded. Again, he's more than happy to take the tie triangle. No creeps around, though, to be fair. Not going to find any nice stacks or really any creeps at all. And in fact, they actually ping out Sanctity. They do spot him out underneath vision, underneath that observer ward, and well, they are just running in single file towards the TA. There is going to be a very nice scan out from Sanctity. Try and protect himself from this gank incoming. Though Citrus, thinking about having a look around that tree line, is not going to go for it. And they must know they've been spotted now. The rotations were there, and that's kind of obvious that Lilgun, they do know what's going on.
You mentioned play it safe. They're clumping up for their own counterfight here.
Sleeping Dart to set up. Onto the Ember. Smoke screen is out. Oh, but a nice Nightmare menu ping. Gonna buy a bit of time as the silence is still going, but it won't matter. Rolling Thunder out. They haven't got the damage. Citrus is just kind of moving in the way he wants, and now with the Stone Gaze. Oh, Sanctity's gonna drop another time. 11, he's gonna try and just run his way out, but there's no running. It's just the Remnant left. In the meantime, Ace 12 even dying. It's menu ping Bane, John. This man, he just does exactly what he needs to every time.
I don't know how. Like, I have no clue how menu ping always finds the early levels, always gets the right position. This is him without that full Aether Lens as well. Just imagine how much more if he did have that additional cast range. He's just so on point with his movement. And we've seen that consistently from the side of Orca. Throughout the day, he's been playing that Bane. So, Lilgun have to respect that control. We'll have to see what else
4-2-3.
they can do. Oh.
No, they don't have the detection this time. Citrus, he did actually pop a dust in that dire triangle, hoping that the Ricky went that way, but it was not the case. Anyway, though, it seems like Orca are more than happy to start moving into that mid-tier 2 tower soon, but by the way they're playing. Like, 13k net worth advantage, not really much in the way of holding them back. Lilgun haven't really won a team fight yet, it doesn't feel like.
No, they haven't seen that opening, and I think Orca's managed to finally figure out how to draft against Lilgun, because they gave out the TA, but again, you notice there's no Grimstroke, there's no micro units, and the impact coming through from Lilgun going into this Ricky pick just hasn't been there. The lanes just didn't work out the way they wanted them to. Their jungle's invaded. Aegis does expire on Orca, so there might be an opening here. Considering how far ahead Orca are, I don't think it's an imminent threat, and more time is necessary for Sanctity. Just lacking the Ogre Axe, could go for the disassembly play on the Dragonlance to get that BKB. Might go for a little bit of a cheeky play.
The menu ping's not an easy target, John, but he does get taken out. Still Sanctity now going to find his own escape route. Doesn't have anything like a blink, so he might really pay for this. And the chains are going to lock him down, as Arena is also there just to make sure he is going nowhere. So you get the Bane kill, but it costs you so much. And they even know 4-2-3's around somewhere. On this Ricky, and he's right underneath a sentry ward, John. Citrus, he saw him too. Pings are out.
He has a gem.
He does have a gem. Very true. Does miss the Sleight of Fist, but Wook still chases. GY, he's perfect.
Oh, no.
GY, another great initiation. Chains out, that'll lock him down, and that'll be your Ricky gone again. He's trying. It's just not going to be enough.
Nah, valiant effort doesn't quite cover. That's your two big cores falling from Lilgun one by one, Mike. They're taking such risky positions to find that farm. All the while, VT Fate is just farming safely. 20k, 8k above the TA. We talked about him just out farming in this game. He has just built up such a massive lead. MKV up, smoke screen's not going to bother him so much, and he's got the damage output to back it up. Tier 2 will fall last outer tower for Lilgun. Orca now can just, take their time. They could wait for the next Roche, as we've seen both teams tend to do, Mike. So it looks like that might be the safe play, but they do see opportunities. Kishka showed himself here.
That he did. Citrus, he'll move in. Onto the Pango they go. Kishka does get Slider fisted, but the chains weren't there. And he should be able to get his way out just fine with the Blink Dagger. And he does have Rolling Thunder as well, but it does seem like this Ember is still chasing him down. Still having a look around the tree line, but it will eventually just give up on it. It's too much time being wasted on this Pango, and they've got objectives to take. Not that there's a Roshan up though, to be fair. That's probably what Team Orca are waiting for right now. So, I mean, you look at the net worth disparity between BT Fate and Sanctity. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It really is. It's just been growing wider. And 8k up a while ago, it was 4k. Before that, it was 2k. Just constantly stepping up and up on this Dusa. And the build-up for VT Fate is pretty damn good as well. He's going for the Satanic next. They do manage to get
nice
the catch
Nightmare.
Here.
That is a nice Nightmare. Sanctity, though, has a BKB up. He will need to use it at TP, however. It's 1-for-1. Again, Lilgun right now just need any kill they can get. So even if you have to expend the BKBs just to be able to get the TP away, it's probably worth it for now for Sanctity.
I feel like it'd be much more worthwhile if you find something bigger. At this point, menu ping isn't worth that much gold, but it is still some income. My issue is you're not flash farming onto Ricky while that happens, so your map efficiency isn't that up. You know, you're not working the camps or keep while you can on the top jungle, while you know that Orca's all tied in bot. And ideally, I don't think it should be the TA making that play. It definitely should be 4-2-3. Like we've talked about that defusal timing onto Ricky. He's got the shard, defusal up. It doesn't feel like the damage is there, and as this game goes on, it'll just get worse and worse.
Sanctity, he knows the trap was taken out, but they are going to charge him down. Citrus knows exactly where he's gone, or does he? Remnant forward, Sanctity, no, he's been caught out. Citrus with his spidey senses, they were tingling the whole time. They are not giving any breathing room to this TA. They are just smothering him. In fact, towards the south, they even found Kishka trying to creep skip. So Team Orca, I mean, over this series, it seems like they've really learnt the movement patterns of Lilgun, and they're just reading them like a book.
Yeah, they definitely are. They know the movements. They're getting the punishment onto Lilgun. Lilgun, it does feel like they're just trying to scrape what they can. It's not amounting to much, and their high ground hold here on Lilgun is not particularly amazing. They could play around with a Rolling Thunder. Kishka's gonna have to put in the work. But with how tanky VT faded this with a Satanic, it's tough.
Jump in, arena down, they've got 11 gone. He does still have the Remnant, but doesn't matter. Not quite, it's taken out very easily. Citrus gonna have a look around for 4-2-3, but isn't gonna be able to catch out the Ricky. This Ember's just been a real menace. Citrus, not much net worth, but the way he sets up everything. In fact, I hope I haven't just jinxed him, but I don't think they have the damage anyway, to be fair, to deal with this Ember. His Remnant, oh, maybe I have jinxed him, John. That was a bit of a short Remnant there from Citrus. Maybe the fingers getting a little bit twitchy there for our Ember, but, you know, still doing a great job, Citrus, don't you worry. They will get the top racks, and, wow, 29 minutes in, John. That's a first for this series.
That it is, Mike. It's looking a lot faster now for Orca. This is the Orca that we know from earlier games, from the earlier series today. They did play a lot quicker. Lilgun has been pushing them to their limits, but with a 22k lead, doesn't feel like Orca can just get what they want. Still smoke out from Lilgun. This could be risky if they don't find that opening here.
Right, down the bot lane. Medusa is out. Kishka still going. Sanctity, meanwhile, with his BKB. Is going to try and fight, but it's wearing off at 11. Is kind of suffering in the fire. He'll have the Remnant to play with. In fact, they're out of mana now, this Medusa, so this could be the fight Lilgun's been waiting for, but it doesn't seem like it even then. Sanctity's the one running. BT Faded does not need any mana jump. He doesn't need anything, really. He's just going to keep man-fighting this one out. And Sanctity is eventually going to fall, but the buybacks are around. They want that first life of BT Faded. As 11 does swap him in. Scanner Blast is there. They can't save him, though. Medusa is finally down. It just costs a hell of a lot to make this team fight work. But perhaps Lilgun might be able to go right into Roshan with this.
That's a big win. Just having that rush opportunity to compensate for the buybacks will give them some room here to get some push out. They still have some tier 1s to work on. The scan will come through from Orca. Citrus could look to make a play, but it is him against the world. Not the ideal situation for him. And that should be Lilgun keeping themselves in the game. And it's not that they don't have a lot of objectives to take on the map. Like tier 2 bot is a bit tough. Mid tier 1 still stands. Top tier 1 still stands. They're going to have to give a little bit of time before they can immediately jump out, and that's going to give Orca the chance to get the respawn off from the Medusa, get their Mars back up, get their Snapfire back up, and look for that counter fight. So Orca, I don't expect them to lose too much here, but this is a moment for Lilgun to reel in that gold a bit. Sanctity is still about 11k behind the Medusa, so this catch-up is very necessary for the side of Lilgun.
Sheesh. That's a big number, John. Goodness me, Sanctity. I mean, the fact that they actually won that fight, even if they committed all those buybacks, the fact that they got the fight and went to Roshan is a pretty huge win. Kishka, you'll get a blink away, but it's not gonna matter. Roll up is there, but he'll get Fiend Trip immediately. No playing around, menu ping. He's a real party pooper, this Bane. Puts him right to sleep, and Kishka is gonna drop.
Yeah. You know, in the last fight as well, while all of that was breaking on the lower ramp, Menu Ping actually just gripped up 423 and solo killed the Ricky somehow with some help from Yif. So he's been doing God's work here on the Bane throughout the entire day, as they will look for something with a smoke.
That's why I watch his replays, John. You just, when you want to play Bane, you look up Menu Ping's replays. Trust me, you'll be fine. The Ace 12.
Yep.
We go onto the high ground. Try their best to slow this down, but it's not the easiest of tasks. Keep in mind, you've got the BKB and the blink up on Sanctity and 423 respectively, but a nice spear out. Already catching the TA. They're going to move in now for that Aegis, and they might just have it. That'll be the first life taken out very easily. As another smoke screen will be dropped to try and protect Sanctity, and they actually force out the BKB. A nice swap in, I suppose, but now they surround. Stone Gaze could come out. The silence is there, however, stopping the Stone Gaze, but they haven't got the damage. This Dusa is just not moving. Can they try again? Stone Gaze now being committed onto Kishka. Is going to lock him down through the Rolling Thunder, and he is going to drop into another. Nice Nightmare is out from Menu Ping, and that'll be Sanctity to drop. Make that Ace 12. It's going to be a full team wipe, it seems. As Kishka's got ball back, but the GG's been called. They've had enough. And game number 3 will go the way of Team Orca. Suddenly, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we have a 2-1 series on our hands.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Orca plays a lot faster. Look at that clock, Mike. 33-33, it ends. Auspicious timing there for Orca to find that win. And Lilgun put up a good fight. I think a couple of issues came out here, Mike, in this third game. We saw much greater understanding coming out from Orca on the draft that Lilgun loves to put out. They constantly ban out the Lycan. They ban out the Broodmother. They allowed a TA. Yeah. That's a first pick TA. It left the Ember in the pool all the way to last pick. They managed to get a good counter to it down the line, and he just had a good handle on it. I think for Lilgun, again, they can play fast as well, but they lose a lot of their tools in the process. It feels like without the Lycan or without the Grimstroke, they kind of just lose that impact. So I want to see them kind of shake things up a bit. They also flex this Venge pick instead of running the Pangolier core into the Venge core, and it did get the Ags up, but if it doesn't feel like that impact was there. I think on the support position, just with the Ag Shard, you're still at a really good point, and it would have been a lot stronger to have Kishka get farm, or the Pangolier to be on 11 instead, to get that Diffusal to maybe get a handle onto that Dusa earlier on.
All right, well, with that, John, we are going to head off to a quick 10-minute break. And, of course, right after that break, we'll be back with Game 4 of this best-of-5 grand final between Team Orca and Lilgun.